Hey guys, we made it to season 5 of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this season, we aim to empower and embrace creativity through diversity as we dive into the fascinating stories and experiences of a diverse range of individuals, highlighting their unique perspectives and creative endeavors, from artists and entrepreneurs to innovators and activists. We celebrate the power of diversity in driving creativity and fostering positive change. Join us as we engage in thought-provoking conversations like
I made myself intentionally homeless in pursuit of my purpose.
We're aware that a lot of people want to present and they were in my position, and what's worse, they weren't a white male, which is a joke that's even still a thing.
I think my family never ever say you can't do something, so full of support for whatever dream. If I said tomorrow I want to fly to the moon, they'll probably say I wish you all the best, Mel.
So guys, I just want to say thank you for supporting the Us People podcast for the past 5 years, and we look forward to sharing another new theme song with you. Let's go. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People Show. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today we are getting creative, which is one of the things I love to do. Music is one of the things that is in all of us, regardless of how long it takes us to realize that it's there. We either listen to it, produce it, play it, write it. It doesn't matter which one you do. It's there for all of us. But I am humbled to have the group Rebels here with me. But individually, they are the lovely guys of Tazro and Trance. Guys, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People Show. How are you?
We're great. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on. I'm excited.
I definitely am too. So guys, my first question that I absolutely love to ask everyone is, one thing I love to do on the show is to get to know people, get to know their background of where they're from, but also help the audience understand who you both are as individuals. So Tazra, I'm going to start with you first. Could you tell me a bit about yourself, but also where you grew up and how that influenced you to be the creative person who you are today?
Yeah, so thank you. I grew up in an interesting town called Luton.
I'm
sure a lot of people know about Luton, but yeah, I grew up in Luton, and I grew up around heavy influence with gang activity. But what I've noticed, even as an older person now, thinking back and looking back, a lot of the behavior that we used to get into and a lot of how we used to act as young people within the community was largely and heavily based off the music that we listened to.
That's true.
And me personally, I can actually, testify to that and be an actual example of that, because it got to a point where now, age 17, I'm in second year sixth form. And, at this point, me and my guys are heavily, carrying multiple knives. And not just carrying them, but, we've drilled in the intent to actually use these things. And, we're on campus, I'm on campus, and there's an altercation with another student. And long story short, it ends up escalating to me actually stabbing this student multiple times. And the student had to be rushed off to hospital. They arrested me on site on campus. And, it was a long story, long back and forth with the courts and stuff. Overall, the courts actually ruled for a lesser charge, and everything was actually in my favor by the glory of God, which was amazing. Despite that, I had actually done this thing and I had admitted to doing this thing, and the evidence was pointing to, me actually doing this thing. And what I was facing was prison sentence. I was 17 at the time, so I was facing juvenile prison sentence or a 12-month community order. And fortunately, the judge ruled for the 12-month community order. And it doesn't just stop there. The judge actually said that once the 12-month community order is done, that it will be completely revoked from my record, which was a big shock.
You have an angel watching over you somewhere.
I know. I know. And, when I look back, that was probably the most essential and key point of my life that I started to evaluate myself, my behavior, the key influences that I had around me, not
Yeah.
just the people, but the things that I was consuming, the music, the type of mindset that I was kind of subscribing to, and that's where I basically immediately kind of did like a U-turn and said, "All right, Lord, I give you my all. I'm gonna surrender my life to you, and let's see where you lead me." And fast forward here, I'm part of an amazing music group, gospel music group called Rebels. And, we're influencing youth with the music that we're making. And it's not, a lot of people, they hear, they've heard Christian rap or Christian whatever, and they think it's corny. But the thing about our music is people have actually said, you know what, I've come across, corny and cliche Christian type of music, but your music is actually, I can actually mess with this. Like, I don't even listen to Christian music, but I would mess with this. So, it's those type of things that we're hearing, and we're realizing, okay, like we're actually impacting a generation here. We're impacting fellow youth with the message that we're pushing.
See, this is what I love to hear. From when you go from one place in your life, and I always say to people in life, everything is about the choices that you decide to make, which will influence your future as well. So that's awesome. Trance, I definitely want to hear your side of it.
Yes. So myself, I grew up in a home which was heavily influenced by music. Everyone was either playing some kind of instrument, or they were just heavily influenced by the music itself. I grew up in a city called Coventry, Coventry City, and this is where I literally grew up, went to school, everything, right? And as I was growing up, I was going to community centers and kind of exploring music and how to record and so forth. And as soon as that community center closed down, me and my friends started to kind of started being in the streets a lot, just being outside. And being outside, of course, when you're young, there's always kind of altercations and all kinds of temptations that come. And that led me to being around the wrong people.
Yeah.
Kind of influenced by obviously the music now that I was listening to was music, that was speaking about drug dealing and making money and so forth. And I was so intrigued because the people who were singing these songs were making money. They looked like they were making money. They looked like they were getting what I wanted to get as well. So that influenced me now to, with my friends, started off with small things like, oh, let's just sell weed to our friends. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to even say that, but let's sell,
Say anything you want on this show.
Yeah, let's sell weed to our friends. Started off just small to our friends, to a point now it just became something where it's leading to selling higher class drugs.
Yeah.
And violence was involved. Now even things like carrying weapons was involved. Now even all kinds of violence was involved, to a point where my turning point was when I think it was like a month before I turned 18, and I nearly lost my life in the bus station by a group of lads as well who came to the area. And there was an altercation that happened, which I was not even involved in that altercation. Someone must have taken something which was not meant to be theirs, but just being around the wrong people at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And, nearly losing my life kind of was the turning point whereby I was like, you know what, God, if you bring me out of this situation, I will serve you, well, no matter what happens. And now I'm here, and I kept my promise, and God has been faithful to me.
There's a lot more for you guys. I can see it. Sometimes in life you can see where people are going.
That's right.
Because they want that change in their life. You can see it. And it's not just, it's an energy thing as well. It's a spiritual thing. It's not just a physical thing all the time. Sometimes it goes beyond that. And because you want that change, it will happen. So my next question for you guys. So Trance, I'm going to start with you on this one. So this one goes a little bit deeper into who you guys are as individuals. So could you define who you are as a person But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? How did you manage to go from being the person that you didn't necessarily want to be to coming back and being the positive person who you are today, who sees a future that has positivity within it?
Okay, so starting with the first question, saying, who do I see myself now, or who did I see myself before?
You can do either.
Okay. Look, so who I seen myself before was a version a fake version of me,
Yeah.
a version which was created by everyone else except myself.
Yeah.
That's the kind of version I seen myself. And that version that I seen myself, not knowing, actually, I hated that version of myself. I despised that version of myself, because that version of myself in reality was actually a person who was filled with fear. Hence why I was doing certain things and hanging around with certain people, because really and truly I was afraid to be by myself. And only, like I told you my story, when I nearly lost my life,
Yeah.
was because now I was by myself. And in my head, I was thinking, well, this is what I was fearing the most. That me being by myself, I will now be caught by myself. And now the thing that I fear the most is going to happen. So that part of me when I was younger, definitely, that was not me. That was other people that I was trying to take from this person and take from that person and this person. The version I see myself now, this is the real me. The one who's always smiling, who's always laughing, who's always cracking jokes. Tazro knows I'm always cracking jokes, because this is the real me, who I feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
I feel like even the people around me accept who I am, the real me. And because I like this real me of me trance, right? I feel like now my voice is being able to be listened to by others, and people are actually able to listen to me because I'm speaking the truth of who I am. And in this version, in a nutshell, with that.
It definitely makes sense to me. Tazro, what about you?
For me, I would say I'll start with how when I look back at how I was before, even during the teenage ages and the adolescent ages as well. It's like a lot of, and this resonates with a lot of other young people as well today. It's like you go through certain motions and you go through certain stages of your teenage life or your adolescent life,
Yeah.
and you're kind of just allowing yourself to be influenced by the people around you.
That's true.
And the thing about me back then is I actually genuinely was so delusional as to the fact that I thought that I was not being influenced by others. I genuinely stood on the fact that I can never be influenced by people. But now I look back, I'm like, no, like you were fully influenced by all these people that were around you. But with that being said, that person that was, that person at that time,
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that back, because going through what I've gone through and meeting the people I've met, whether negative or positive, has shaped me to be who I am today. And who I am today is a young, ambitious, energetic, intelligent young man. You know, very creative. I'm very creative in not just music, but anything to do with creating something. I'm always hands on. Like when for example, if it's even just to do with like design and stuff, I'm heavy on designing. I like designing even our own artwork. I'm the one that mainly designs all the artwork, the videos as well. Myself and Trance, we work together to actually create, or even to just draft up either storyboards or how we're gonna edit our own videos. So creativity is kind of something that I live and breathe. And when I think about even the Christian principles that I hold dear to me, everything in the Bible stems from creativity. You
Yeah.
look at the book of Genesis, right? That's literally God himself being creative. That's God himself taking a canvas and just saying, all right, I'll draw this, I'll paint this, whatever, as an analogy. So to me, that's how I see myself, as like a mini god, if I can say that. I'll say.
Hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. That's one thing I love about people, is when they say how they feel. I understand it. Even when you spoke about the Bible for a second, so even in the Bible itself is actually creativity too. Written word.
That's right.
And written word is creativity. So even when we say it, speak it, say it in a poetry form, in any way that we say it, is actually a form of poetry, or a form of creating or articulating ourselves in a way that we feel resonates with us and will connect with other people. So everything you said is absolutely true. So let's get into music. One thing that I'm a big fan of is music. So as artists, and I know a lot of people go through this as artists, how do you maintain authenticity while navigating commercial pressures of the music business? Because I know the music business is such a hard place to be, and everyone has their own outcome of what they want to achieve. But how do you always maintain to stay true to yourselves, but also remain authentic in what you do? Anyone can jump.
I'll go first. I think the key to kind of finding that balance between being authentic, but also making sure that you're not behind or oblivious to how the industry works,
Yeah.
is just on one side, being educated with how the music industry works.
I'm glad you said
I've
that.
I've met a lot of people, and even how we were before. What we would be doing is we would know, okay, we can create a song, yeah, great. But the truth is, music is much more than just creating a song.
Yep.
Even and that's the truth, even in the gospel side. If people wanted to look at it different and say, oh no, but the mainstream music is different to, I mean, the secular music is different to gospel music, but no, it's still part of the same industry. And the truth is, a lot of artists, they fail to get the fact that music is still a business. As much as it's an art, and we're creating art with our music, and we're creating stuff with our music, it's still a business. So it's important for us as rebels, myself as well, to make sure that I'm up to date with whether it's the latest information within the industry, whatever is relevant within the industry. I need to make sure that I'm up to date with that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that I jump on the bandwagon, or we jump on the bandwagon with trends or this or that. Because sometimes trends may work for one person or one artist, but not for another.
That's true.
So it's about that, that gut feeling, that instinct. We're big believers on following your instinct as well. A lot of people think that follow your instinct or your gut feeling is rubbish, but no, it's there for a reason, and that's
Yep.
your spirit. So yeah.
What about you, Trance? Talk to me.
Well, how I stay rooted and grounded in is literally based on why the reason why, first of all, I survived, the reason why God chose me, and what I'm actually set out to do. So as I look at music, I look at it as a purpose that God has put in me, like a gift which God has put in me, and there's a target that He's obviously wants me to reach. Right, it's the target that wants me to reach. Hence why I speak in this certain way. Hence
Yeah.
why we choose certain beats. Where we're reaching a certain audience, which most people in the gospel industry will not be able to reach. Most people, where they won't be able to kind of like understand the Kirk Franklins and the Tasha Cobbs, where those are the people that I feel like my music, our music, will be able to touch them also, as well as touching the rest of the people, of course, but I feel like them also will also understand that our music and the message that we are pushing out there and putting through, so that's how I stay grounded. It's just knowing I'm staying focused on the core and the purpose that I'm here to do, until God puts me in another thing that He wants me to do, right? And as Tazro was saying, of course, we we have to understand the music business, because it is the business.
Yeah.
We have to take it seriously. And that's what we do. Even when it comes to making our music, we don't look at it like, oh, we're just gospel musicians, so we just do this thing like it's some form of charity for church, But no, we take it so seriously that we'll even say, like, me and Tazro sometimes we'll be in the studio like, we see this guy performing at the Brits Award or something. I'm like, what, this guy doesn't perform as much as we can. We can take his fans. That's what we'd be thinking as, not like, oh, these guys are in their own lane. No, we want to take you guys, take your fans, take your lane, because we want to take every single person to Jesus. That's it. That's the main focus, and we're going to be as violent in a way, and as competitive as possible. That gives us that kind of drive. Yeah.
So you guys could have done any genre of music that you decided to choose. And I've watched a few of your interviews before where they talk about drill and they talk about rap. And I know there are people always have a judgment towards that type of music. But I don't see it like that. I see music as music, and different types of music touches people in different ways. That's how I see it. Now, when you're going into the corporate world, people look at your music in a certain way and be like, well, they don't want to listen to it because it has a negative connotation or whatever it might be. Now, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to flip it around on them, because I don't believe music is negative unless you choose to make it negative. That's my version of it. But what is your version of it?
Taz, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, music itself, I like what you said there about music isn't negative unless you make it, or you choose to do with it in a negative way.
Exactly.
And it ties in with like the genre of I'll choose drill specifically because a lot of the songs that we've made kind of have a drill sound, but us as rebels, we wouldn't actually label ourselves as UK drill artists or Christian drill artists, only based off I've touched on this as well, based off the origins of drill and what drill music actually is.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that the term drill, it's not because it sounds like a marching drill. People think that, but it's not. That's not the reason why it's called drill. It's called drill music because it's music that boasts about, or the origins of it was used to boast. Rival gangs would boast about criminal activities, and the term drill in slang is to go to another rival hood or block and to shoot people up. That's what a drill is. That's what going on a drill is. And even when you look at these people that do that, the gang members and stuff like that, what they would do when they go on a drill, let's say there's 4 of them in a car and they're going on a drill looking for a rival gang member, they would actually play drill music to get them in the mood. Exactly. So it ties in with what you said, Savia, about it's about what you choose to do with the music. What do you actually tend to do with the music? Are you using the music to hype you up, to get you in a mode for you to cause violence, or are you listening to music to edify yourself or edify others? That's how I take it.
Yeah. What about you, Trance?
Yeah, most definitely. In terms of even ourselves, we don't put ourselves in a box. Like we're just going to stay in this particular box. We're just going to do this. When we go to the studio and our engineer plays a beat, he plays any form of beat, and what comes at that moment of time, in our spirits, the song that would come at that moment in time in our spirits is the right song at that right moment. So we don't put ourselves in a box. And of course, music is a vehicle to shape people's characters. Music is a vehicle to shape people's characters. And then yourself, you have, as a person, you have your own, there's people with their own narratives to either shape their generation in a certain way or shape them in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like I spoke about before, was saying, music can devalue people, or it can actually uplift people and put value on them. So it's what you yourself as a person, as an artist, music is a very powerful thing, like very, very powerful thing. I'm not too sure if people really understand the power of music, because this is something whereby we can do a song as rebels, and we sing a song and it's constantly playing. You can constantly play it for 12 hours. It's like someone telling you something for straight 12 hours. That will change the way you think. That will change your character completely. So most definitely, music can have, people can put in negative things in music to just, drive their own agenda and narrative.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense to me. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you guys face within music. I know we spoke a little bit about the music business itself, and I always say to people, always educate yourself on your music business. That's why it's called music business. That's the main thing about it. But one of the things that I love artists to share is their trials and tribulations of what they go through within the business. Is there any stories that you guys have that you would like to share that you feel would educate somebody going into music, or who wants to be an artist or a songwriter or a producer, that you feel would help them?
I'll pick point on one key thing when it comes down to making music specifically.
Yeah.
When we made our first track, our debut track, which was Eternal Cipher, it's out everywhere. There's a music video for it as well on YouTube. When we made that track, we were so focused on perfecting the song, perfecting the music video, pumping music for the music video, to a point where, this is before we started to really realize, music business, to a point where we ignored the marketing side. And when I take a look at how we thought back then to how we think now,
Yeah.
the priority now, especially in how a lot of content nowadays is consumed on social media,
Yes.
that is our, that's our prime focus now. Marketing, how we market our songs or the content that we create. So for me personally, I would say that one of the obstacles that we faced early in, when we started this thing as rebels, is definitely, overlooking the importance and the impact of marketing.
Yeah.
And marketing covers a lot of different things. It can be paid marketing, like YouTube ads, Google ads, whatever, or it can be collaborative marketing. For example, like with influencers, maybe you strike a deal with an influencer to do so and so with your song. So many different things. And I did mention earlier in this interview that, we're both creatives and we're heavy on creativity. So for us, the marketing, as soon as we realize, all right, we lacked on the marketing for maybe the first two songs, but now here's our opportunity for us to actually do something amazing when it comes down to creating content or creating strategies to market our content. Because we can have a crazy song, and of course we do, we're rebels, but we can have a crazy song, right? That's hard. But if we don't market this thing, nobody will know that it's hard. Nobody will know that this thing hits. And a lot of people, and this is just a tip to other artists as well. When you're starting out, you might put out something and it might not get the traction that you wanted, and you might assume that you're not good. But the truth is, if you haven't marketed the thing, people just might not have, come across your work.
That's true.
So for us, the key thing now, or one of the obstacles that we've, managed to kind of focus on overcoming, is the marketing side.
I like that.
Yeah, I could not agree anymore with Tazro. Marketing, just to add on, also something else is investing in your music. Quality makes people pay attention. So the quality you bring in makes people actually pay attention. The quality in your music, not cutting corners.
Yeah.
Because this is an investment. If you really think that your music should reach the masses, the quality of your recording, the quality of your videos should also impact how you feel about your own music.
That's true.
Because people will be like, okay, yeah, the song is good, but the recording is corny. Like, like the recording is corny. Like, oh yeah, no, you know what? Yeah, the song is good, but oh, man, the video. Did you see that video? There was a pigeon in the background and all sorts of like what was going on. So it's like if you believe in your music, you believe in your vision
Yeah.
that you've been given, is you back it up with the quality. Not saying go and spend 12, 15,000, 20,000, but you know the amount of money you have, and you know, okay, if I really put this in, I'll get a quality that I'll be proud of.
True.
So yeah, quality is definitely a thing which out there you just have to push.
Yeah.
I love that. So, guys, let's get down to you guys being creative and being in the studio. This is one of the things that I love to see with artists also. What is a day like in both of your lives from when you get up in the morning and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go in the studio. You might call each other and say, listen, I've got this in my head, or we're going to be here today. Because I know how it is with artists when they it's like an adrenaline rush when you get a spot for something. How is a day in both of your lives when you wake up in the morning to go into the studio to actually being creative and making something that when you hear the finished product, you're like, wow. What's a day like for you guys?
I'll start by saying the creative process with how we make our songs as rebels. It's very, very, even myself, when I look back and I think, how did we make this song? This song was, this song was really good. Like, I'm even shocked when I think about when I try and track back and be like, oh, how did we make that? But I'll give you an example of, for example, our latest release, our latest single, which is The Code. That's out as well on YouTube and all streaming platforms. How we actually came across or came up with that song is, I was driving. I think I was doing my errands, and what I like doing when I'm doing my errands is I just play beats. Right, I play beats, and if I'm hearing a beat and I'm messing with it, then I might just play around with some flows. And I heard that beat for The Code, and the first thing that just came to my mind was, the code, I can never go broke. And I was thinking, yeah, I like this. Like, I can never go broke. Like, what's broke? I can broke. So then I just kept repeating that as I was driving. I was rushing home because I needed to just, voice record this thing so I don't forget it. And I got home and I was just playing this beat for like maybe 3 hours. And I was building on the chorus because how we write is we start with the chorus, right?
Okay.
So we hear the beat, then we start with the chorus. Then from there, the chorus kind of outlines the skeleton for the whole song.
Yeah.
So I'm writing up the chorus. Then I finish the chorus, and I'm like, yeah, Trance. And I send him the voice note. I send him the lyrics, and I'm like, yo, we need to do this ASAP. We need to do this now. And then I think we booked our session for that song maybe a few days after, wasn't it, Trance?
Yeah, a few days after.
And literally like the days leading up to that studio session, I was just itching to get into that studio and just lay it down. So recording day comes, we get there, and we just literally I lay down the chorus on the mic so that we can actually hear what it sounds like properly. And immediately that's when we realized, this is it. This is it. And even just the message as well of the code, like a lot of people, they hear songs, right? And they don't realize that whenever you're repeating these lyrics, you're saying these things to yourself.
You're manifesting them. Yeah.
Cell in your body is hearing this, and it's actually aligning to what you're saying. So if you're rapping about poverty or, shooting a man down or doing this, the more you listen to that, the truth is, the more you listen to that, the more you're programming every single part of your body, your brain cells, every single part of your body to be accustomed to that message. But we realize, all right, we have an opportunity here to use this, to use that and get people to talk about them being wealthy, them never going broke, them attracting money. And these are biblical principles, because without money, one, the gospel can never spread. because we live in a day and age where, you know, everything that we need to do requires money.
That's true.
If you need to go to the shops, however you got to the shops required some sort of, you know, some sort of transaction or some sort of money. So yeah, Trance.
Yeah, now you know, like when the process of like us making music and stuff like that, throughout like before we go to the studio, I'll just be constantly rapping. So like Tazro, like I just have some beats and I start rapping, and I do this just so that I can always be well prepared.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I don't even write the lyrics down. I'm just going off my head like this. So when the day when you know, we have a song and I have to go to the studio straight away, right? I know, okay, cool. I can just sometimes I just keep lyrics in my head anyway, right? And I get so excited when we book the studio. Like I'm so excited. Even on the day, I don't even eat anything. I'm like, I'm that excited. I'm like, you know, let's go. And like honestly, it's the most exciting thing. I'm just happy to be in the studio. We don't even want to leave the studio. Sometimes we leave late and we've booked for we just have to like pay the engineer even more money because like, oh, you know, we've overstayed. It's just amazing because what we're producing is not only, you know, it's not only doesn't sound good, it sounds good, but we know that we're putting something that's going to make an impact.
Yeah.
We're putting something. When you hear younger people saying, you know what, I've heard your song and, you know, now I'm doing this. I'm influencing this. So the excitement even becomes more because you're like, I'm having the opportunity to be able to influence the younger generation or even other people to do things, to be fired up for Jesus, or to be fired up for business, to be fired up for just being a better Christian, or you know, just those kind of things. So I get so excited. Even speaking about it, I get excited, you know. So yeah.
No, I definitely like that. Let's talk about being a creative visionary. This is something that I love talking about. So, what does being a creative visionary mean to you? And if I was to ask you to use the creative side of your mind to tap into your creativity and come out of the box, what would you tell me about being a creative visionary? But also, talk to me about some of the creative visionaries that you look up to, that inspire you within your life and within your music.
For me personally, when I think about being a creative visionary, I think being a creative visionary, or the epitome of being a creative visionary, is having something in your mind, right? Imagining something and being able to actually put it into practice, or being able to fashion something simply from your imagination.
Yeah.
And there's one thing or one quote that I really, really, really hold dear to me, and it's that if it can be imagined, it's possible. Imagine the fact that, you know, maybe I don't know how many years, maybe 400 years ago, people probably thought flight was impossible. Like
Yes,
us,
that's true.
you know, flying in the air was impossible. And now look, and even right now, maybe us as people now, we might be thinking, you know, I don't know, jetpacks, or, you know, proper like publicly usable jetpacks. Maybe we won't see for another 1,000 years, but for all you know, they're actually there right now.
Yes, true.
So for me, being a visionary or being a creative visionary is having that imagination, and also being able to, and this is key as well, being able to constantly build on your imagination.
Yes.
A lot of people think that imagination is just for kids, but no. Anybody great, especially like, you know, you look at the Elon Musks, you look at all these billionaires, all these people that have created things that are large or big or impactful in today's age. They are they are people that have wild imaginations, and it's in your imagination that these ideas are coming, and it's through your imagination that you're given the ideas and the empowerment to actually make it happen and put it to work and, you know, create something. So for me, that, And to answer the second question, there's so many people that have had such a big impact when it comes down to me personally as a creative. But one key person I would say would be Uber Angel. He's a business mogul and a very, very, he has a very, very big influence across the world. And for me, one key thing that I've learned from him is that poverty, and this is a quote that he's actually taught me, is that poverty isn't a lack of resources, it's a lack of imagination. So that goes to show that imagination is everything. If you can imagine something, you can do whatever you want.
That's true.
Forget the naysayers, forget people that might look at your ideas and be like, nah. Even when we make our songs, right? We actually, for me personally, I like using my imagination, because when I'm writing certain lyrics, I like to imagine, key scenes or key things according to those lyrics. So, yeah, imagination is big for me.
I like that.
Yeah. With myself is trust your trust your eyes, your ears, trust what God has given you. When because myself as well, I draw, I paint and stuff like that. So it's not only music, but like obviously like Tazro was saying, we're creative in all sorts of sides as well, even photography and videography and so forth. And if your eyes are telling you that photo that you're editing is not good, trust your eyes. If your ears are telling you no, that song is not good, trust your ears, because the same ears that you have is the same. The same ears that you have is the same ears that your friend has or someone else has, but someone else is not trusting their ears, right? But if you trust your ears and be like, you know what, this song doesn't sound as what I want it to sound like,
Yeah.
right? Or this video doesn't look like how I would want it to look like, because the eyes, your ears, they're the most perfected thing by the greatest artist in the universe was ever, which is God, right? So clearly, your eyes and your ears, even your taste, is you trust them, right? Your mind, like Taz was saying about your imagination, trust your mind to be able to think outside of the box.
Mm.
And as a creative, you have all these things that God has given you to be able to create something, which you yourself can put out and love, right? So yeah, that as a creative, I just use everything of mine, every single thing, like how, yeah. And in terms of who influences me, it's the same. We have the same mentor, Hubert Angel, right? He's a business mogul, of course, like I said, and he's also, he also speaks regarding being creative.
Yeah.
Being creative, being able to use your mind, your imagination, going far, far beyond, right? Yeah.
See, this is all the stuff that I love. So if I was to say to you both, if there was one person or a group that you would like to collaborate with, who would it be and why would you choose that group or particular person to work on a project with you both?
Ooh, good question. Good question. You can't lie. Okay. I would say, for me, I would say, all right. I have two either groups or individuals. Um, Musically, that is. One would be, there's a group or a duo, Young T and Bugsy.
Okay.
Yeah, you've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like how they carry themselves, but also how they are musically. Like they're very much like how we kind of apply ourselves when it comes down to music.
Mhm.
And I really, really would like to see, Rebels, Young T and Bugsy kind of merging together to create something very, very unique.
You've
And
just manifested that, right?
that exactly. And that's some real stuff. Even on that topic as well, like a lot of people, they think that principle or that doesn't exist, but no, it's true. Like whatever you speak, whatever you say confidently, or whatever you let out of your mouth, that's exactly what will happen and what will come full circle. So yeah.
Yep. What
Well,
about you, Trance?
so that's
Oh,
two.
yeah.
One more.
So yeah, Young T and Bugsy, that's one,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And there's another group. I'm not sure maybe you've heard of them. They're called Condo 7.
I haven't heard them, but I'll
They're
check
based
them
in
out.
London. They're really got like a big gospel rap type of audience.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're a duo as well. And I like how they flow. I like their kind of style of music as well, and their influence. So Rebels, Condo 7 will be a good fit.
Imagine if you got both of them at the same time. That would be epic.
Ooh, that would be epic.
That'll be something different. That'll be something different.
Definitely. For myself, there's two people. I
Mhm.
think I had a whole lot of I think I had like so many, but I just have to because I just have to done it down to two people. There's a rapper in the UK called Dave.
Okay.
I think I just like him as an artist, all in all.
Okay.
Because he's just not a rapper. He's an artist, all in all. I feel like he can bring out something in when he's recording that other rappers cannot do, right? And the second one, only because he was the first Christian rapper that I've ever heard in my life.
Mhm.
I never knew there was Christian rap, and he's Lecrae. So that is someone who also, just because, I just, it's because he just, not because the songs that he has are, something that rebels can, collaborate with, but it's just because his audience obviously is big, and he was the first Christian rapper I've heard. And yeah, Lecrae and Dave, most definitely.
See, that would be a song and a half if you got all of them together. Hey, listen, anything is possible in the world, like you said. So
Yeah, most definitely.
anything is so. A lot of the time, people judge you based upon how you look. A lot of the time, we are judged upon based on how we look, rather than the content of who we are as individuals and unique people. How do you feel if you took out the word judgment in the world? What would you do differently?
Oh, good question. I like these questions. These are very
Oh,
deep.
these questions are.
you know, judgment or being judgmental comes from you. It's literally simple. You not understanding or knowing that person. Imagine you coming across somebody that you've never ever known, sat down for tea and coffee, for dinner, whatever, but immediately you've judged them and said, "Oh, that person's a prostitute because they are dressed like this," or "Oh, that person's a hoodlum because he speaks like this." But me personally, I've spoken and I've known people that maybe they have like a hood kind of twang to how they speak, but they're very intelligent,
Exactly.
very intelligent, and they're probably the ones that have the best business acumen compared to somebody that speaks maybe proper English and so on, blah blah blah,
You go.
simply because they actually apply themselves better than maybe that person.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say, because I've met so many different people and people that we would, or the common person would think is a walking contradiction. I've met these people, so I know for a fact, like, okay, I can't just meet somebody and just think I know them, or attach a label to them, or assume a certain thing about somebody. Because even if it's not you assuming negativity, being judgmental doesn't always have to be negative. Even if it's just simply you making a simple assumption, that's you being judgmental. That's you, assuming something about somebody. So for me, I would say, what would it take to remove judgmentalism from the world? I would say more conversations, more opportunities for people to kind of intermingle and to connect with other people from maybe different societies, different communities, different walks of life, different industries, maybe in the music industry, different genres. Because what I've realized as well is a lot of the genres, like for example, genres like rock,
Mm-hmm.
there's certain things about rock that I genuinely like and that for example, like a guitar riff, right? I was even saying this to Trance a few weeks ago. You know, for one of our songs, maybe we could even use a guitar riff, and it would actually work. You know, we just sample the guitar riff, just sample it, blah 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 blah, and boom. So that's a perfect example of, you know, different things or different societies and communities kind of mingling, and that, I believe personally, is the cure, quote unquote, to for judgmentalism.
Yeah, most definitely. Like exposure is definitely one of the keys to eradicate or even lower down people's judgmental in a negative way. You can't eradicate judgment all in all, because people judge, like they'll be like, should I go McDonald's or Burger King? They're judging right now. They're judging Burger King. They're like, oh, but Burger King is like this. But exposure, in terms of humans as cultures, exposing and being able to really push out your culture or push out something which is new, because something which is new, particularly, people don't really, they judge it so much because it's new. If you're going against the grain, if you're going against what everyone else is doing, then automatically they will judge you, because themselves, they also fear of also being judged.
True.
So it's a thing of, I want to be in a group so that I don't get isolated and I don't get laughed at. You know, so taking something which is new, embracing it and pushing it out there and telling people, look, it's okay if you like something. It's all right. Yeah.
But you know, just to quickly add on what Trance has said,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
You know, one thing that I love about judgmentalism or being judgmental, free publicity. If somebody's judgmental about you, it's free. It's free, you know? Because one thing I've noticed about, you know, people that are judgmental, they like to talk a lot.
That's true.
So imagine, you know, they're judgmental about you, and then maybe they go off to their group. They will be talking about you. That's free publicity.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We want that. As rebels, we want that.
One thing I've learned about people who judge is, I was having a conversation with someone and something very intriguing came up. The person said to me, the one person who wouldn't judge is a blind person. And I love the fact that they said that, and I understood it. They said a blind person wouldn't judge because they're purely getting help from you. They don't know what color you are. They don't know where you're from. You know, you can have, it doesn't matter where your accent's from. You might not be from that place. You could have lived in that place for a certain amount of years and just adapted the accent. But a blind person doesn't judge you because they cannot see you. And that said a lot to me. And that taught me a lot that day when I was younger. And I always kept that in my mind. So the reason why I always ask that question is just to see their vision on how they believe that if we took the word judgment away, what would they do differently in their lives? Because sometimes we stop doing things because people are judging us. And because we're afraid, or like you said, you guys said fear, we're afraid of what people are going to think of us if we're doing it. And this is why I always congratulate people who do what they love, regardless of what people are going to say, because someone's always going to say something about you. So I'm so happy that you guys pull it so eloquently in the way that you did, because you showed your creative version of how you would change the world in a different way. So if I was to turn around to both of you and say, when was the last time you felt totally at peace with yourselves? What would you say to me?
The last time I felt totally at peace with myself, I would say every day, but the reasoning as to why every day, because every day I take a moment to reflect, right?
Like,
Every day I make it a point to always reflect on what I have, but not only what I have because of what I have, but what I have based off my journey, how I've come to where I am today.
yeah,
And each day it changes, because each day either something happens, you know, I get to a different stage, you know, in different aspects of my life, not just the music, and it makes me grateful.
yep.
It makes me grateful, and it gets me to a point where I'm appreciative of all the people that I've met, all the challenges that I've faced, all the things that I've experienced, whether it's good or bad, for me personally, I take it all as good, because those are the things that shape me. And that kind of mentality is based off it's a very particular and very interesting Bible verse. It says all things work together for your good, meaning our good. And people, when they hear that verse, they might think, oh yeah, all things work together. No, but it literally means that even the bad things, you might, experience them now, but eventually the way that it plays out, it works to benefit you. It works for your benefit. So yeah, that's my take on that.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. But yeah, nah, honestly, with myself is same thing. Gratitude is actually gratitude, and living not for for self, but living for other people as well.
Yeah.
Because when I'm too concentrated on myself, I feel like, that's when it's weirdly, when I'm concentrating, oh yeah, myself, I need to do this for myself, do this. And that's when like peace or even joy or not, it just, I guess, disrupted, in myself. But when I make a conscious decision that no, my life here is actually for others.
Yeah.
Not for myself. It's actually for others. And being grateful for the things that God is doing in my life, it just continuously, every single day, every single time, I have peace when I do so.
So I've only got 2 more questions for you guys, but my second to last one is, what would you like your legacy to be when you feel like you've done enough in the world? Some people go all the way through and they like, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
But, and which I think is an ambient thing to do, because if you know you're living your purpose, you just keep going. But what would you guys say to me when I say, what would you like your legacy to be, and how would you like to be remembered in this world?
Very, very, very good question. It ties into something that I was also saying to Trance a while back as well. Specifically with the music, the fact that, we're creating music here to share with the world that it's not just here for now, it's here forever.
Exactly.
Generations to come will actually see, because of the internet, they will see our content. They will see whether it's a vlog that we do as rebels or music that we release or behind the scenes or whatever the case is, they will come across this content. And for me personally, the legacy that I want to leave behind is a legacy of impact, a legacy of influence. And what do I mean by that? I mean that in every single thing that I'm doing, whether it be music, whether it be business, whether it be just even my social interactions, I want people to know or think of myself as Tazro as an individual, but as rebels, as a collective. I want people, the whole world, for generations to come, to think of me and us as a group as people that caused a change in something relevant within this world, whether that be within the youth themselves, like the young people of today, or whether that be in business. But I want my legacy to be that Tazro, that young man, was an energetic man, and he caused changes throughout history, or throughout today's history of young people. And for me personally, I see young people as, of course I'm young myself, but when I say young people, I mean, fellow young people. I see young people as like an investment. If you invest into young people of today, Lord knows where the world or where society will be maybe in 5 years or 10 years. But if you choose to neglect or choose to just be like, oh yeah, whatever, towards the young people, guess what? The young people are the world of today. The young people aren't the future. They're the world of today. Because when everything goes down in maybe 5 years or 10 years, who do you think is going to be taken over? It's going to be the young people that exist in today. So that means they are the future now, not tomorrow, but now. So again, to just round up, for me personally, my intended legacy is to be known as a man of high influence in everything that I'm doing.
I think you're already doing that.
Thank you. We're getting there. Thank you.
You're getting there for real. Yeah. Similarly, obviously, my personally is to just be known as, wow, these two guys who turned the world upside down, who turned the music industry, they turned a generation upside down. That's what I want to be known for. And to leave a legacy of people or young people who are on more fire than I ever thought I would be.
Yeah.
Because I think as someone who puts something out there, you always want someone to catch whatever you put out and do better.
Yeah, true.
That's how you know you actually made an impact. Not for you to be the one who is, yeah, I'm the guy who done it all. But personally, I feel like when you be like, okay, you've put out something out there, and there's a group of other people or a nation of people who now, from what you have spoken and what you have put out before you left or before you retired, they have now taken that and they're pushing it even more and harder than you could ever have done. Yeah.
That's how it should be. That's definitely how it should be. One thing I always say is that you want to leave the world knowing that the next generation is going to do better than you.
Yeah.
Always. So then we will always get a better generation working harder and harder, but working smarter as well. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter too.
Yeah.
So guys, my final question for you both, and I think we should have a part 2 at some point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We definitely should have a part 2, is I would love for everyone to know where they can find your music, find you both individually, but find you both also as a group. Please share with us where we can find you both on all your social media platforms and any that you would like to share with us.
Trance, you can start.
Okay, so for our group is Rebels, so just lowercase Rebels and underscore. And for myself is Trance, so it's TRANCE underscore the billionaire.
Hey.
Yeah.
Of course. And for myself, it's at I am Tazro. So I am Tazro. And of course, YouTube, Rebels Music, Instagram, Rebels Music _
Awesome. This is where I say to you, thank you so much for being your authentic selves, for showing your vulnerability, your kindness of who you are, but also just letting your story flow with me and having this interview today. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And again, thank you so much for having us on here.
You're more than welcome, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching and listening to the Us People Show. Please remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Apple TV, Fire TV, Freeview Channel 271 and also go to lcbntv.com. You can also listen to this interview again every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Heart Songs Live. You can also listen to the Us People podcast, which is out every Tuesday. For any guests that you want to listen to, please go on there and listen to us. Guys, I want to thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care, guys.
Even as an older person now, thinking back and looking back, a lot of the behavior that we used to get into and a lot of how we used to act as young people within the community was largely and heavily based off the music that we listened to.
That's true.
And me personally, I can actually, testify to that and be an actual example of that, because it got to a point where now, age 17, I'm in sixth form, second year sixth form. And, at this point, me and my guys are heavily, carrying multiple knives. and not just carrying them, but we've drilled in the intent to actually use these things. And we're on campus. I'm on campus, and there's an altercation with another student. And long story short, it ends up escalating to me actually stabbing this student multiple times. And the student had to be rushed off to hospital. They arrested me on site on campus. And it was a long story, long back and forth with the courts and stuff. Overall, the courts actually ruled for a lesser charge, and everything was actually in my favor by the glory of God, which was amazing. Despite that, I had actually done this thing and I had admitted to doing this thing, and the evidence was pointing to, me actually doing this thing. And what I was facing was prison sentence. I was 17 at the time, so I was facing juvenile prison sentence or a 12-month community order. And fortunately, the judge ruled for the 12-month community order. And it doesn't just stop there. The judge actually said that once the 12-month community order is done, that it will be completely revoked from my record, which was a big
You
shock.
have an angel watching over you somewhere.
I know.